Okay. Seth, how you doing? That's fine, Seth. Not a problem. You doing okay? Any questions on anything? Oh. You were here yesterday for the afternoon lesson, correct? Okay. Today I want to we're going to work on a lot of jazz today. A lot of eighth note triplet formation. So we all know how to count the eighth note triplet, or how I count it. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and if you count 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, that's fine, but I don't like that. So that's just a matter of my preference. Some people call it 1 ta-ta, 2 ta-ta. Where that's come from, I have no idea. But hey, what are you gonna do? Good. Hello, Stacy, how are you? Paul, no jazz today, I changed my mind. Just joking, relax. Okay, we could start. There's a couple people here. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna need to get into an eighth note triplet formation. Now, Stacy, you have double beaters, Seth, you don't, and Paul, you don't. Okay, so what I do with my left foot on the bass drum, you can, and I'll demonstrate it as well, you could do it with the hi-hat. And actually, the hi-hat sounds a little bit more jazzier. Victor M., this is your first time here. How are you? All right, well, today I'm doing something a little different. I really promised the student Paul that you're from Colombia. Okay, how are you? What time is it in Colombia, Victor? All right, I'm going to give you my email. After the lesson, email me if you're going to frequent this. Oh, Stacy did it. Okay, thank you, Stacy. Huh. Thank you. You're 42 years old, or you've been playing 42 years? Jimmy did it. Hello, Jim. Stacy. Boy, everybody's looking after me. Thank you, guys. It's 11:50. There's an hour difference. That's a 2-hour difference, or 1 hour. Okay, so if you email me, Victor, I'll add you to my mailing list, give you the time and locations of the lesson, and PDFs if necessary. Okay, so now we've got a full house here today. How you doing, Jimmy? Thank you for that. All right, we got a new guy, so let me ask him a question so we can make this pretty fruitful. When you count eighth note triplets there, Victor, how do you count them? Oh. Okay, good for Victor. So you guys are brothers, huh? Yep. Okay, Victor, when you're counting eighth note triplets, how do you count them? I just did a few minutes ago. The way you can count them, the way I count them, is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or occasionally 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Now you can count the triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. I don't like that because I'm uncomfortable with that. Okay, but if it works for you, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you know this one ta ta, two ta ta. I don't know where does that come from, but hey, if that works for you too, fine. Okay, double beaters. Victor, do you have double pedals? All right, eighth note triplets with the bass drum. Ride cymbal 1, 2, 3, 4. We're alternating on the bass drums. 1. I'm flat-footed. All right, so you got 1, 2. Now what you want to do with that, and let me play it on a hi-hat now for the guys that don't have it. That sounds a little bit more jazzier. Now there's a couple options here. We can refer off the stick control book as all the lefts on the snare while you're doing that. 1, 2, 3. Listen to this, Paul. 1, 2, 3, 4. Line to 1. Line 3, 3, 4. This should be on 2. Sorry, it's hard to do this in count, believe me. Let me see how you count them. I should move this a little closer, I'm sorry. Triplets. Okay, well, if that works for you, fine. That's a new one on me. Thank you for the lesson, Victor. I appreciate it. So I'm taking the eighth note triplet and I'm getting a jazzy effect, a jazzier effect like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that's not difficult if that's all you're doing. But if you drop the left hand in there now, the left hand is going to be, we're going to reference off the page. So on the first line, the left hand is going to be on the does. 1, 2, 3, and, I'm sorry. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Hey, come on, Matt. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Got that, Paul? Hey, old dog. Oh, man, this thing is killing me. There is no such thing for an 18-inch bass drum, Jim. The double beaters will not work on an 18-inch bass drum. 20 inches, you're doing it close. 22 is perfect. Well, enough of Victor then. Okay, he's got to go out. Bye. Okay, have a nice day. All right. We're working on eighth note triplets, old dog. Double beaters or hi-hat, bass drum and hi-hat. Okay, I'm laying down an eighth note triplet. I'm going to use the hi-hat. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now while I'm doing that, my right hand is going to be on 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to read down the stick control book. All the lefts on the snare drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Then it reverts to now the lefts on line 2. I'm going to form 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 1, 2, left hand is on 2 the and 4 the. 1, 2. Okay, we got that? You can run down the whole stick control book like that if you'd like. That's just an additional way. Mr. Horst, how you doing, Mr. Mante? You got that, old dog? Horst? I guess Victor was expecting a drum concert, you know? Jim, you got that? Stacy, Seth? We got that? Now, I'd just like to go backward a little bit on yesterday's lesson with the nah, we won't. You got a paw? Okay, good for you. You like that paw? Now, if you remember, everything that you do on the, I'm having a hard time here this afternoon, jeez. Everything that you do with the hands, like for example, the hand exercises that you had, 1, R equals 3 rights, L equals 3 lefts. You want to get this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, or the hi-hat. 2, 3, 4. 1. All it does is strengthen your coordination. Okay, so you got the 3 rights and 3 lefts. Or if you'd like, you could do the triplet fill-ins. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1 and back 2 and back 3 and back 4 and that's it. Add that to your vocabulary. Now, I don't have time to write them out, but I will. I will write everything out. Okay? Just, I did say July and August we're going to go to 2 days. Old dog, do you think I'm going 2 days next month? June, July, and August? I mean, that you know, you got it crazy in my mind. You know? You got it, Jim. Stacy, you understand it. Seth, are you still there? Hoist, do you understand it? Now, you could do the whole syncopation book. You have the syncopation formulas, okay? And the explanation in the syncopation formulas was you see something straight up and down, and how it's presented, how it's played swung. So it's on the left-hand side straight up and down, the right-hand side swung. Okay? Now, if you go through that, you should have no problems just opening up to 10, 11, or whatever, 12, and playing it on one surface swung. Okay, so now, add the bass drums, or add the bass drum and hi-hat, or even the triplet roll. That's going to drive everybody crazy. I don't think you guys are ready for that yet, but we'll work on it. These are like, it has nothing directly to do with any particular tune, okay? All this is doing is taking your coordination to another dimension so you can strengthen that. When I sit and play a jazz tune, I very seldom play a straight ahead jazz pattern. Only if I'm backing a singer and that's what they need, or I got a sax section or a trumpet section that needs to have a timekeeper. But when I'm playing with a trio or a quartet, I'm playing melodically. But yet I'm in time, I'm not in anybody's way. And this is going to add to it. All these coordination things. These will strengthen your weak spots that when you start to hear something, you'll be able to play it. That's what this is all about. Okay. Joe Smith, how are you doing, sir? Boy, we got a lot of people in here today. I guess, yeah, it's Thursday. Before we go any further with the lesson, did I say June, July, and August 2 days a week as opposed to July and August? Because if we go to 2 days a week, what I need is everybody to get together and determine whether they want Monday and Tuesday, Monday or Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday, Monday and Thursday. Tell me what you guys want, and we'll see. The majority will rule. You understand that, Joe? The triplets. Now, if you don't, you have double bass drums, Joe, double beaters. Jimmy, why don't you just buy an extra bass drum? A 20-inch, 22-inch bass drum. Jimmy, what kind of drums do you have? No, Joe's been here for a while, Jim. Thank you. Thanks a lot again. Joe, do you have double beaters, double bass drums? What's Wonderbar? I don't know what that is. What is Wonderbar? All right, July and August we'll do that. June we'll keep going 4 days. Not a problem. It's a lot of lessons though, and I figure the summertime you kind of relax, you water your garden, you go down to the beach, check out everybody, have a good time. But then with this virus thing, I don't know anybody's going anywhere. I really need to know what Wonderbar is. What is a Wonderbar? I never heard that term before. You need to... Oh, that's cool. I thought maybe you had it. Oh, okay. I didn't understand. I'm sorry, Joe. But if you could nail that shit with 1 foot, man, that's, that's great. What happened? Hold on. Okay. If you can nail that with 1 foot, fine. But if you want to say you're playing double beaters, and if you don't have them, use the hi-hat in place. It puts a whole different dimension on what you're doing, and sound-wise. But when I first started using 2 feet, things were all over the place. But when I united them all, man, things started to sound pretty nice. Who's this? The Peisty cymbals. Okay. Not a problem. But anyway, it's nice to use that hi-hat thing, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Do an exercise with the hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the... One, two, three, 4. 1, 2. Gotta play a little lighter with that. You see, 1, 2. I can't get my left foot to really work that fast with the hi-hat. Let me see. All kinds of things, but just stay simple. Do the 3 strokes with each hand. 3, 4, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. get the idea, gentlemen? Jimmy, instead of getting 2 floor tom-toms, well, you have a single pedal. If you get a 22-inch pedal, I mean a 22-inch bass drum, you have the double pedals. And you can set up your bass drum right alongside it, so you'd be the unusual dude with a 22-inch bass drum and an 18-inch bass drum. The 22, you could house the 2 pedals. The 18, you could house the 1 pedal. So you need 3 feet to play that. That's a good exercise there, Paul. You just improvise. I don't have to sit here and play triplets between my bass drum and my hi-hat and do the whole page down with the triplet fills, or play my bass drum and hi-hat as 8th note triplets and doing 3 rights and 3 lefts. We're going to get challenged with this. You know, you're going to do power triplets, the triplet rolls, the fill-ins. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Trust me. What is this? I'm trying to read this. Whoa. What is called the engine, which is alternating the left and right foot between the hi-hat. I'm not certain what I'm understanding it. Alternating the left foot and the right foot between the hi-hat. It sure is that is actually right, Scott. I'm trying to figure that out, Jim. Guessing the problem, wait a minute. E as the left foot as a little exercise. Let me see, that sounds interesting. Let me know if this is what you're talking about. I'm going to be using my bass drum and my hi-hat. 1, E, and the. Is that what you're doing? I'm alternating between the bass drum and hi-hat. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the. Is that what you're talking about, Joe? All right, I'm sorry. If you want to have a conversation about that, Joe, I'm not certain about what you're saying. But we can go on email. I'll even give you my phone number. You can call me and talk to me about it. Not a problem. That sounds pretty interesting. I never heard that term, the engine, before. I don't know what that is. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do the jazz thing for you. It's not really jazz per se. You know, you learn how to do the mechanics of playing straight ahead. You understand how the 8th note triplet is associated with the straight ahead jazz pattern, where the bass drum is played, or where the hi-hat is played mechanically, not musically. Okay? Certain rules and regulations need to be followed. I like to play in open time because I feel by playing this all the time, I feel like a time machine, which I totally refuse to be. When I'm playing music with the band, I'm playing my instrument the way I hear the music. I refuse, like I said before, to play time for any musician if we're improvising or we're playing a jazz gig. Yes, if you're doing a big band, you're keeping all the sections together. They're trying to count 8 measures or wherever they are or whatever, and they're relying on you to do it. That is being a timekeeper. Okay, but I love to play the open time. No straight ahead. If I have to play straight ahead, it always comes back to the straight ahead, but it's and it's melodically. I'm inside of the music. I'm humming the tune down. Bump, 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 bump. I just did 8 measures there, but I didn't play straight ahead time for 8 measures. I played along with the melody. Okay, but you're learning the mechanics, and this is a lot of fun and challenging. You know, I never did show you how to interpret the stick control book in triplets. You know, I showed you how to swing it. I showed you how it is straight up and down. But if I took the first line and maintained the sticking, and if I said triplets, 1 and 2, 3, line 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, line 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 4 and paradiddle. I can't count, talk and do this shit, man. 1, gonna do line 5, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so on and so forth. You could do this against the jazz pattern. That's tough. But the thing that you want to do is you want to expand on your vocabulary here doing the 8th note triplet, you know? Come on, bass drums. 1, 2, 3, 4. With that hi-hat to get it a little jazzier effect. 1, 2. One and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1 and the 2. Have a lot of fun with it. Okay? Any questions you want to have answered, Paul? Today's Paul's Day. Remember this exercise, R equals right, left, right, L equals left, right, left? Okay, that's tough and challenging. If I'm playing triplets between the 2 bass drums, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, easy. Line 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another dimension. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Line 1, 2, 3, 4. Left, 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 left. Right, left, right, right, left, right. So on and so forth. You had a lot of fun. Be creative, but don't go outside the time zone. Is that what you call a push? Okay, that's milestones, yeah. I'm just humming the head. Bump, 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 bump. It's just 8 measures there. It's actually a 32 measure tune, but Miles gets everybody crazy, and he puts it on YouTube as a 40 bar. He tags on in the beginning of the tune an additional 8 measures, so you really don't know where the hell you're at. It's a good tune, I love it. What's a good challenging tune is by Herbie Hancock, Maiden, Voyage. Tony Williams is on that album. Jimmy Cobb, I like the Jimmy Cobb thing with Miles Davis, Milestones. But Maiden, Voyage is an ostinato. The melody is very simple, but the ostinato is going on. It's a 2 measure ostinato. Bum, 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 ding, bing, boom, and they're all playing off of that. That's a fun thing to do. And that's what we're going to start to do. What's that? Paul's Mall, old jazz club in Boston. Jimmy, you like Stan Getz, huh? Bump, ba-da-da-ba-da-ba-doo-doo. Stan Getz was a hell of a musician. Okay, no questions on jazz? How about if I did write out a melody and we played the melody on the snare drum as maybe triplet fill-ins or just straight ahead triplets with the accent on the melodic, using the accent for the melodic structure against foot patterns. All I'm doing here is just trying to strengthen your coordination, trying to give that passion of, I don't know, being creative, trying to get your own voice. You know, a drum lesson, everybody, you know, you notice, oh, Stevie Wonder plays drums, or oh, the piano player sits down and plays the drums. Yeah, well, they're playing the money beat, or, you know, the dop, bop, 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 dee dee da bop. That's not playing drums. I mean, anybody can do that. We're taking it deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the mind of developing your coordination. It's not easy. I complained one time, and I never do it again. I was working with this piano player for over 30 years, okay? And great piano player, man. The guy is, I enjoyed him. It was like a whole lot of fun every night of the week. And I was taking some piano lessons from him. I was studying theory, not to be able to go out and perform the piano, but to learn a lot about the different sounds and the chord changes. Because anything that if you don't know the melody, you hear a chord change, that'll bring you back to the melody occasionally. So it's aiding you. And I would complain to him about coordination. Man, it's so hard to, coordinate 4 or 5 limbs here. He goes, man, what are you talking about? I got 10 fingers I got to coordinate, plus his mind. And he turned me on to Bach. Now, this is going to sound a little crazy. Bach, his inventions, I don't know if you understand. It sure is, Joe. How do you ever, you know Bach, right? And Beethoven, all those guys. And Bach had a series of written out things called the Inventions. And this amazed me. There is no way that I can possibly play that unless I was playing the piano for 100 years. So I took the thought and put it to the drums, which I don't think is a bad thing. His inventions is he'd start the melody with the right hand, okay? And he'll proceed to the second measure with the right hand, but now his left hand is on the first measure. So his left hand is always one measure behind the right, but they're all playing the melody. That is insane. So I took it to the drum set, and I tried it a few times. I don't know if I can still do it. But for example, I did it between my hands and my feet. So if I'm going to do line 1 of stick control book, 1 and 2 and, now I'm going to do the second measure. I'm going to start now with the left foot. I'm going to go 1 and 2 and, but it doesn't really work with the first two lines. Like the third line, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, now I'm going to go, I'm still on the last measure of the second line, 1 and 2 and, while I'm doing that. That is insane. That I did it one time up to line 8. And after I did that, I had to sleep for 3 days. That's how exhausting mentally it was. And it did aid me with my coordination. But man, I don't want to go through. There's so many other things I enjoy playing, but that is difficult. Does anybody understand his inventions? No? Okay. Okay, back to the single bass drums. Yeah, single bass drums. Single bass drum. So, eighth note triplet with the left hand. But this time we're going to tag an accent on the first stroke. It's going to be an ostinato pattern. The bass drum is on 1, 2, 3, 4, left foot 2 and 4. And you're going to run down the stick control book, all the rights on the floor. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, line 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do not lose the accent with the left hand. That is a killer exercise. I'm trying to recall one exercise that, well, not exercise, but a movement that Joe Morello played. I used to play with him, 3 against 8. Ay, agabunga. This guy was out there. What do we got here? All these. Ay, agabunga. Jimmy, you're in a talkative mood today. His name is Joe Hunt. I got to check him out, okay? What I need is like, I have so much to do, but, I'm not getting distracted. It's my fault, and I do a lot of talking. I shouldn't do a lot of talking. I should stay on one lesson. What I'm concerned about as well is what we did with the reading yesterday, playing the bass drums, or no, playing the snare drum, the stick control book, and then reading the page down, or reading the line with my right foot. You guys remember that? Remember the reading we did? Number 1. Now the same thing could apply with the eighth note triplet. That's where I wanted to go today, but it doesn't seem like we're going to get there. But I just want to see if everybody understands what I did yesterday. What I'm doing is I'm playing the stick control book down on one surface. The first line, I'm thinking of 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, then going to the second line, but I'm maintaining the sticking, like 1 E, 2 E and E and 4, left hand. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a third line. 1 E and 2 E and doing that all the way down to say line 12, while you're playing the first line of the reading exercise with your bass drum. Has anybody worked on that or tried that since yesterday? Now be honest, guys. How did you make out? You remember that old dog? Paul, you remember that? How did you make out? Get discouraged? Curse a lot? Because it will make you curse. Stacy, close your ears. Hoist, you still there? How did you make out with that, Paul? How did you make out with that old dog? Joe Smith, I think I sent you what you call the PDFs. Well, that's good. You were working on it, but how did you make out? What did you experience? Collision course, and that was not meant to be funny either, because that's what's going to happen. So you have to, set your mind and your limbs as one unit. We all need work on it. It's not easy. Well, there is so much to do. I mean, but like I said, my practice habits are every day the stick control book, warming up, at least the left-hand side, okay? And then whatever I decide that I want to work on for that day, all right, I stay on until I feel good about it. Then I'll go on to something else. But everybody's different. Everybody has different weaknesses, and you want to strengthen them. Don't keep hanging out with the things that you're strong with. I mean, that's a lot of fun. But you want to get stronger, you got to take the things that you're weak with and make them just as strong as your strongest point until they all unite and become one, and then boom, you grow. Okay. Yes, no easy. You sound like my grandmother. No easy. I'm just kidding. Yeah, you know, Seth, you know, there's other elements. Hoist, you know, you have other things that you need to do. Everybody's not as fortunate as I am. You know, get up in the morning, come to a drum studio, go outside, have a cigarette, have some lunch, come back into your drum studio, practice, work, write, ba-da-ba-doo, and then go to bed. Every day. And I love every minute of it. No, it's not easy. Now, we're going to do the same thing with the eighth note triplet. Okay, we're going to play eighth note triplets in a different variations, as para triplets, as double strokes, and as single strokes, and triplet fill-ins, and 3 rights and 3 lefts, reading, okay, the syncopated parts down with the bass drum. That's going to be difficult. All right, so I'm going to sign out, and I am going to be back tonight at 7 p.m. And to give me a little time really to practice. I guess Victor left. He said, he don't want to deal with this shit. He wants somebody who can rock and roll. You know, people expect to come to an instructional platform and want you to blow, play your ears off. That's not teaching, as I keep saying. I'm not complaining, but that's the element. You know, if I don't project something like play 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, or play something from Megadeth or Blast Beats, it ain't happening. You're welcome, Paul. We'll get back to it again tonight. You want to move into my studio? I don't think so. What are you going to move into my studio for? It's my zone, man, my paradise. I'm here, you know, other than my students, I'm here by myself, and I can accomplish what I want to accomplish. It's like heaven, man. Well, when you come up here, you'll see it. Stacy, you're going to have fun. Too bad some of you other guys weren't going to come. Hey, Jimmy, you haven't changed your mind about it, no? Well, what's up, old dog? Hopefully. All right. Please come up with some questions, because we're going to work on the triplet, the different triplet variations. You know, the triplet fill-ins, the 3 strokes, okay, triplet roll, and we're going to play the bass drum down with the melodic line. I refer to the written line, okay, as the melody line. Well, you guys are going to love it, Seth and Stacy. Hey, Jimmy, it'd be so nice if you could come. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, when you do reach a certain age there, Mr. Old Dog, you know, every minute's precious, every second. And then nobody really knows. But that's, you know, that's neither here. I don't want to get into philosophizing, but yeah, I understand. All right, guys. Hoist, come back tonight, okay? And we're still going to do the 4 days a week until, July, all right? Is that fine? Bingadadanga, boom boom, bump 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 bump. Why is that called a push? I don't know what that is. I never heard that term with a tune. Bump 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 ding. Da ba doo ding. Da ba doo. That's a monk tune. All blues. We'll get into some Coltrane tunes. I have a Coltrane and a Charlie Parker fake book. I have all the melodic lines written out. So I'm going to try to establish, come back in September, you know, one day of reading, one day of hand development, one day of jazz, and one day of funk, or whatever we're going to have to do. But I think that would be good. You can, Jim. It's not a problem. Everything's opened up here. That other guy here, John, the doctor with his wife and all that, you know, leave him home. We don't, you know, you come here, you all of this stuff, number one, okay? You sit with me in the studio, and all your questions, you should write them down, and you'll see all this stuff makes sense, because now I can see you, and I can scream at you, just like in that, what was that movie? I forgot the name of the movie. I don't scream at anybody. I have my own way of getting things accomplished. All right, we'll see, Jim. All right, anyway, guys, any questions? If not, bring them to the table tonight, and bring a couple napkins. Have a good rest of the day. We'll see